Hello, money masterminders, and I'm going to talk to you about something that's really freaking important to me, as well as something that's important to you as the viewers. So, I'm going to talk about something that I've been making a mistake for years, and probably you're making the same mistake as well with this current market, this current coronavirus going around. So, let me talk to you about something that's called concentration and focus. Let's get to it. So, the idea of concentration is the idea that you are going to focus on something important or something that is vital to you at a certain time. Concentration does not mean that you divide your focus into different areas. Focus means focus on one thing, and that's it for a certain amount of time. But here's the problem with this. Focus is not something that you focus for 10 minutes and then you focus on another thing for 10 minutes and then you focus on another thing for 10 minutes. No, focus means you are going to get something done and get it done immediately. It may take an hour, it may take 2, but you will find that after focusing or concentrating on one thing, you're going to make a lot of progress, and you may get it done a lot sooner than doing 10 minutes now and then 10 minutes later and then 10 minutes a lot later, and then you find it's time to go to sleep. But the idea of concentration itself is that, hey, listen, I'm going to do this thing and only this thing until it's done. I'm not going to focus on anything else. I'm going to focus on one thing until it's done. I would give you the definition, but I didn't even look it up for a second. But I know the overall idea of concentration. So, concentration itself is important in wealth and money, but I'm going to give you some context. I'm going to give you some holistic kind of things. Let's talk about Rothschild. Rothschild, the family itself, they were told that they were going to do only banking and only finance. They didn't marry outside of the family. They just only focused on their family and focused on a single art, which is banking. Now, here's the thing. There was a son in the family that said, "Hey, I want to get married. What do we do?" Well, the father said, "I don't want us to go marry outside of the family and bring in outside influence. So, why don't you marry your first cousin?" Disgusting, I know. Weird, I know. I agree. But excuse me, Rona. But it overall brings up an important point about concentration. Here's the thing. When you concentrate in a certain family or a certain idea, you start to become better at it. Instead of focusing on multiple things where you could get 1% better each year, you focus on one thing that you could probably get better at 10% a year, maybe even 20% a year. So this is how Rothschild did it. He's going to have all his sons work only in the banking industry, work only in high finance, work only in this area, and we will become prosperous. We've seen its effects. The War of 1812. Rothschild decided to say, "Hey, listen, we're going to benefit from the crash that's going to happen in Britain, because the war debt's skyrocketing, and people are just sending their money to fight a war that is pretty much not in their favor against the French Empire. Naturally, Britain won, but to a cost, a massive cost. And Britain was just like, holy crap, what do we do? Rothschilds came in and said, hey, listen, we'll give you some loans so that you can finance the war debt. We'll give you some, and once you start paying it back, we'll help you out. They gave loans. British government avoided bankruptcy, but now they have to start paying interest payments to the Rothschild family. The same thing happens with the idea of helping out other people, but through the idea of banking. Hey, listen, we'll give you some money, but in return you have to give us interest. It works symbiotically, honestly, because that way one person actually gets the money that they need while they're in a tough spot, while the other gets the interest. The Rothschild family is not the only one that did this. The Medicis, also a very prominent banking family, also did this. They focused only on banking. I'll give you some other examples, and we're talking the idea of differentiation and focus. So here's the thing. Differentiation and focus. You're focusing on one brand, one single niche. Let's talk fast food. Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, Whataburger, In-N-Out, profitable and fast food restaurants. Let's go into the idea of clothing. Blakely, Spanx, Gucci, Lacoste. Let's go into the idea of, let's say, cars. Not only do you have for the domestic ones like Dodge, Ford, Chrysler, you also have imports, which are like Nissan, Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, Lamborghini. Let's go into the idea of sports, honestly. And we're not talking just brands, we're going to talk about people. Michael Jordan, James Harden, LeBron James. They're three of the best basketball players out in the NBA. Why? Because they concentrated. They concentrated on their art. Now, I can take this to a plethora of people. Golf. Tiger Woods. Friggin' baseball. Babe Ruth. I can talk about business. Or even technology. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Tim Cook. I could talk about, let's say, retailing. Freaking the owner and founder of Walmart, Sam Walton. That's his name. Jeff Bezos. I can talk about, let's say, for instance, the idea of anything, honestly. This is important stuff, people. This is important stuff. You have to know to concentrate. Concentrate in a certain field. Concentrate, folks. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to talk about something that's important to you as the viewers. You're all about the money. You're all about the wealth. And I'm going to talk to you about that. But first, this idea of concentration can be applied to anywhere. It can be applied to learning an art. It could be learning something else. Oh, artists. I forgot about artists. Picasso was a great person in his art. Monet, he was a great artist in Impressionism. Whoever created Pointillism, I forgot his name, but that's not important. The important thing is, the artist who created Pointillism was only doing Pointillism. But here's the thing. This can be applied to anything. Anything. Art, business, technology, sports, cars, whatever. It could be applied to anything. Hell, even the gym. Focus on one muscle group, wear that shit out, and go on to the next muscle group after that. Then you'll get bigger. Also focus on losing weight. So, how can I bring this into the subject of money? This is where I disagree with some financial advisors. And I would frankly say that some financial advisors are full of shit. So here's the point. A lot of financial advisors say that you should diversify in your stocks. You should put some money in your savings account, blah, blah, blah. Here's my point. Diversification can be great if your overall goal is reducing risk. But here's the caveat. If you reduce risk, you reduce reward. Let me put it to you in a perfect example. Let's say you got two portfolios. The first one is a one stock portfolio. You have a potential gain of 20% a year or a potential loss of 20% a year. The other stock portfolio, you have four stocks, different industries. Let's say the first stock you get 15%. The second stock you get 5%. The third stock you're losing 3%. The fourth stock you're losing 8%. In the single stock portfolio, you could see a gain of 20%. You could see a potential gain of 20%. However, you could also see a potential loss of 20%. In the other stock portfolio, you could see a gain of 9%, or at max you could see a lot more, or you could see a lot less. Depends on how the market is doing, depends on how you're managing your risk, and depends on how the investments are working. But here's the overall caveat. Let's say you're getting 20% in a single stock, and let's say you're getting 9% from the multiple stocks. That's great. That's absolutely great that you're doing 20%. 9% though, you could do a lot better. Concentration makes a lot more money, but it can also lose a lot more money. Let's do the caveat. Let's say you have that 9% gain, but on the single stock, you're losing 20%. Do you see what I'm saying here? The only idea that you should diversify is if you are only reducing risk. You are only going to reduce risk. 48 Laws of Power pretty much says, hey, listen, concentrate, but if you're at absolute risk, reduce your risk. You should have one master, one trade that you're going to have absolute advantage of. But if your trade is at risk of being lost, you should start diversifying and learning from different masters. That's the honest point about concentration. Concentration can make a lot of money and it can lose a lot of money. But if you follow a perfect trading plan, you should not be able to lose money in a single stock. But here's the thing. Traders can lose money. And they should. Here's the thing. If you lose money, you are doing it right. That way you are learning. But if you lose a lot more, then you're not doing it correctly. But back to the point about concentration. Let's say, for instance, savings accounts. Average savings account in the United States is now 0.06% per year. You put $100 in a savings account, you're getting 6 cents a year. 6 cents. Out of $1 million, you're getting $600 in interest a year. Here's the thing. The more you put in, the more benefit you could get, but the more risk you have. That's a simple idea of concentration, folks. Learn it, and you can make a lot of money. Do not learn it, and I guarantee you will not go far. You will not go far. Now, let's say a personal application. For my life right now, I've taken all my money, and this was the mistake, all my money into investments. I diversified and everything. I only made 6 to 7% a year. One time I only did 15% for the year. And that was, I think, last year. Here's the problem, folks. I made 16% in 1 week just by single stock portfolio. I'm currently up about $500 today. $500 today. Outside from my other portfolios, I would see like about maybe 600, 700 for the year as a gain. I made $500 in a single week. Maybe even $600 in a single week. That's the mistake that I made. There was something that I did not know. There was something that I was missing, and I was so into reducing risk and all that. I get risk management, but here's the thing, folks. Manage risk, but also concentrate. Concentrate, and you can see a lot of potential gains. That's the mistake I made. Learn from my mistakes, people. And I guarantee you will make a lot more money than I do. And trust me, I'm relying on the advice that Yoda made. The burden of masters is to make sure their students are a lot more powerful than their masters. That's the true burden of all masters. I may have butchered that quote, but I don't care. You get the overall point about this quote. But anyways, that's enough for me and freaking ranting about money. Like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Share it. Let's get to 100 subscribers, folks. When we get to 100 subscribers, folks, man, I'm gonna do a great video for you. I might do it live, but I don't know what it is. But I'm going to give you a great video, folks. Let's get to 100, and hopefully, let's go to 1,000, folks. Share with your friends. Share everything. Let's do it, folks. I'll see you in the next video, folks.